Hello, everybody. Welcome back, and welcome new listeners to the second episode of the NSFW Dynasty podcast. I'm Mitch Pressine. I'm here with my co-host, BJ Cole.
Yo!
And our producer, Nick Gofford.
Yes, sir. Welcome back.
Today on the show, we'll be hitting on free agents and where they will go for wide receivers, running backs, and tight ends. And we will also be hitting on how to be successful in the Dynasty format.
Sounds good. Should we play? No, we're not doing games yet, though, so we'll do the first topic here. First topic's going to be about somebody staying or going somewhere.
Will he stay or will he go?
Related to free agent market. If he stays, was he tagged or extended? And if he goes, where's his best landing spot? Let's start with wide receiver free agents, guys. Okay. Allen Robinson from Jacksonville.
You want to start?
Sure, I'll start. For sure. All right, I think that Allen Robinson stays. I think if he's not franchised, then a long-term deal will be had to give Bortles a wide receiver one.
Yeah, I agree. Unfortunately, I wish he wouldn't stay just because of the quarterback there. We all know my views on him from last podcast, but there's rumors out there that they're already looking on a long-term extension, and if they can't get it done, they're going to take him, so that's probably
going to stay. He's set there for sure.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, how about Sammy Watkins from Los Angeles?
Oh, he's gone. I think the Rams, they're up against the cap. They have multiple guys they need to re-sign, including Aaron Donald, and it looks like they're going to franchise their safety, LaMarcus Joyner.
I actually going to disagree with you on this one. I think they find a way to keep him around. I just think they want to build around their offense. They had such a good last year, so I don't know why they want to mess with things now, kind of something like that. So
I don't know. It'll be tough.
It'll be tough. I think for the success of their offense, sorry for my lack of talking, they need to keep him around. Otherwise, because the fact is you can't rely on Robert Woods to lead your offense.
Everyone calls him a non-factor, though, because Goff didn't throw the ball to him last year. So.
Well, that's all going to change. You got to remember, he was traded. Usually people, when they're traded, they don't do well the first year there.
Yeah, especially right before the season starts.
So I hope he stays. I hope they give him another chance because that offense is already dynamic, and I think that adds another level to him. So in my eyes, the Rams need to find a way to keep him there.
Yeah, I agree.
And I
don't think it happens.
Yeah, but I do think that would even be his best fantasy landing spot. I don't think there's going to be a better spot
with a whole off season with Goff to get his rapport there. Yeah, I agree.
They need to find a way to get it done. Like you said, it may not happen, but need to find a way.
All right. How about Cam Meredith for Chicago? Restricted free agent.
With Cam, I think injured all last year. Has a lot of talent, proved it in 2016, but I think he stays with the Bears. The fact is the Bears need a lot of help on the offensive side of the ball, especially with wide receivers. So they're probably going to put a tender on him just because of the wide receiver scenario. And I don't think any team would pay the tender knowing he's coming off such a gruesome injury.
Yeah, so. I think almost the exact same thing, almost word for word.
All right, how about Terrell Pryor?
Ooh, tough one. You can start.
I think he's already gone. He wasted a whole year in Washington doing almost nothing there. And I think he needs a change of scenery. I really think that he would be a great addition to the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, I could see that. No matter where he goes, he's not gonna get like offers from the primetime teams because he did bet on himself last year and epically failed.
Did not work at all.
So he's gonna have to deal with these lower level teams that just need help. Again, I could see the Bears, Cleveland, the Bills, that all need wide receiver help. But I think the best fantasy spot, and they also need help, would be the Chiefs. The Chiefs need a wide receiver to go in there, take pressure off of Tyreek Hill, and they need weapons to play around their young quarterback.
And he's still a downfield threat, too, which really helps with Mahomes as well.
Exactly. With Mahomes' arms, having Tyreek Hill on one side and Terrell Pryor on the other, potentially could be deadly.
Yeah, it could.
So you throw in Travis Kelce and Kareem Hunt, that's going to be a very good offense if they can find a way to make that happen. I think he scores the most points on the Chiefs. I don't think, like you said, that's probably going to be the best team that's going to give him any sort of chance because of him failing last year. It was a fail.
I still think that it's going to be San Fran, give Garoppolo a big dude to throw the ball to downfield. Yeah, but he's already got a speedster on the other side. He's got a slot guy. He's got Pierre Garçon there, who we'll see what he can do coming back from his injury.
Pierre Garçon?
Yeah, Knicks guy.
This is like my only draft I knew how to pick.
That was years ago.
But the question is he going to score more points on the 49ers or on the Chiefs?
We'll see with Jimmy G. That's what it comes down to. And
I mean,
we'll
the only thing,
Mahomes
only thing that is down with the Chiefs that where he may score more points with the 49ers is because Mahomes is going into his first starting year. That's the only thing I can see. But I've been hearing a lot of good news from Mahomes, so I'm hoping he goes there and I hope he gives him a shot. Really,
I just feel like he's more of the red zone product that you're looking for with San Fran.
I mean, I could definitely see a San Fran, but I still think Chiefs is the better team.
All right, next one, Nick.
Well, I gotta say, this far 4 questions into this, and we haven't had much arguing. This is kind of weird.
We'll get there.
Wait.
Don't worry about it.
All right, let's talk about Marquise Lee in Jacksonville.
I think he's gone. A-Rob resigns, then they have A-Rob, D.D. Westbrook, and Keelan Cole. So I don't see the need for them to re-sign another guy when they're up against the cap, kind of. Not really, but...
Yeah, they're not up against the cap. They're loaded.
But I think he's going to end up a Bear. He's going to be like the second, third tier of wide receiver, and the Bears are going to spend money.
Can you pick another team other than the Bears? Because the Bears could go and sign every potential free agent wide receiver.
I haven't said Bears for anything yet.
I know, but...
I just think that's where he goes. It's going to be a team.
I mean,
it needs a wide receiver who's got the cap to overpay the wide receiver 3. He'll get a Bob Woods contract from last year.
All right. Well, I see that. I see it as he's going to stay. With a vastly below average quarterback, you need all the weapons that you can put around him. You are bringing back A-Rob. Marquise Lee on that wide receiver core is the only other somewhat proven wide receiver.
I don't know, but they love D.D. and they especially love Keelan Cole.
D.D. didn't do anything. I know they like Keelan Cole, but those were both their first years. Flash and pans happen every year. So what's to say that those two didn't have a fluke? Well, not even D.D., but Keelan Cole had a fluke year last year.
Nah.
Why are you saying no?
He looked great in every game he played. It's not like he had one big game.
If you all these guys that played for 1 year and had a really good year and sucked the next looked great on film.
You could say the same thing about A-Rob then.
I mean, but yeah, you could actually. But
yeah. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
They're not going to pay
gonna
4
keep
guys. They're not going to pay 4 receivers.
They're not paying 4 guys. They have 2 guys on rookie contracts.
Then they have to commit as much as they're going to have to A-Rob to keep him around. They're going to have to commit a decent amount of money to keep Marquise Lee around.
If you have 2 wide receivers on rookie contracts, what's paying one other guy?
Well, they're paying enough people as it is.
Yeah, that's part of being in the NFL. You got to pay guys to play.
Not going to happen, no.
When you have 2 wide receivers on rookie contracts, it's not going out on the limb to pay another wide receiver.
They still have Allen
and it's not like they're going to be paying
$10 million a season.
It's not like they're
going to pay their 5th receiver $10 million a season? Not a fucking chance.
Pretty much what happens when a player fucking sucks after he signs his contract.
No, Marquise Lee's gone.
All
right, next, Nick.
Yeah, that was better. All right, so looks like Moncrief from the Colts. What do you guys think?
Go ahead.
Yeah, he goes. I think they're over on that experiment with him. He had a good couple years with Luck. A lot of things plays into his down year. The quarterback could be, but it's kind of hard to look at his numbers with Brissett and look at T.Y.'s numbers and see the big drop off.
Yeah.
In between the two. So I think for that he's gone. They're going to bring in a couple pieces there to kind of fill the holes. I could see Donte Moncrief going to somewhere like the Packers. I really think it's somewhere what the Packers need. They need a quicker guy that's younger,
kind of tall. He's 6'2".
And I think that's the best spot for him because we saw what Donte Moncrief can do with a
healthy
good quarterback
when he's healthy. Yeah.
So he could honestly go to the Packers and tear it up next year. We saw what he can do with a good quarterback, and we know what Aaron Rodgers is. He's no scrub, so
yeah,
we watch it every weekend.
I agree. I think he goes. I think he's going to go somewhere, sign a 1-year prove-it deal. I also have the Packers as one of my teams, but I could also see him going to Oakland if Michael Crabtree were to leave. I
All
feel like
signs
that's
are
another
pointing
good
to
one.
Crabtree leaving too.
Again? Because I
Yep.
know they've been flip-flopping on that
Yep.
quite a
It's
bit
back. It's
lately.
back to pointing to cutting him and Marshawn. So
Yeah,
they would have room
I
for
could
him.
see them cutting Marshawn, but that's a different...
where do you think you had a better year? Would it be with? Well, obviously, it'd probably be with Rodgers, right?
Oh, yeah. I agree. I think so.
But me and the Packers need to do some things to open up cap room, and they're kind of dragging their feet on it. I'm kind of hoping they're just waiting until they sign A-Rod
They
to
got
make their
time.
moves, but hopefully they find a way to make room and make a run at them. But Oakland wouldn't be a bad destination for them either.
Paul Richardson in Seattle.
Got another one that we agree
Yeah,
on.
we literally both said the exact same thing.
All right. So Paul Richardson's going to be gone. He had a decent year next year in a scheme that is designed to run the ball more. They had to throw the ball a lot last year because their running game was Russell Wilson running for their
Fucking
life.
god awful.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
The running game was Russell Wilson running for his life. So they dropped back and saw what happened. So Paul Richardson's gone. I could see him going to Baltimore.
That's
Replacing-
exactly where I picked the Mike Wallace role.
Yeah, replacing that role. And I just think he fits perfect with Flacco's arm. Flacco
His
has a
elite
huge arm.
His elite arm.
He's not
I
fucking
know, I'm
elite.
fucking
Flacco's elite?
No, it's it's a running joke.
I mean, he does have a very good arm,
He can chuck the motherfucker.
but he is not accurate, and sometimes he underthrows the ball still. And Paul Richardson has shown, if you look back into the Super Bowl, that he can go up and adjust to the ball. Where really a Mike Wallace, he couldn't.
He's not a bad receiver. He is a former first-round draft pick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's got all the potential to
So-
go there and actually be a difference maker.
Only thing is, if I'm a Paul Richardson owner, I'm going to sell him because Baltimore is a place for
Yeah, I don't want anyone that ends up in Baltimore.
Baltimore is a place where all receivers go to die forever.
Yep.
So
Definitely.
have him, sell him, get rid of him. If he goes out and kills it, I'm sorry. Not sorry. All right.
Yeah. All right. How about Bruce Ellington out of Houston?
I'll go.
Yep.
I'm gonna say he stays. Braxton Miller hasn't shown anything since he came into the league, and when Ellington was given the chance, he proved to be a capable playmaker for him, averaging I think it was 10 or 12 fantasy points for 4 of the 5 weeks that he started.
Yeah, I'm gonna say he goes. Just for the simple fact, if the Texans are far ways away from being a Super Bowl contending team, well, not far, but they're still a ways away, especially in the AFC. So they're gonna need to get younger and better at their wide receiver core.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to do that, I think they're gonna get rid of Bruce Ellington, bring in a younger guy. That's why I think he leaves. You agree with that?
I could see it.
All right.
And I don't think Bruce Ellington's like a household name
No,
where they have
But
to
with
re-sign
when you have
him
young
either,
guys
so-
like Watson and Nuke, you have to start building your offense with younger guys.
Wait, is
they
that
got
guy's
Will
name
Fuller.
Nuke?
It's DeAndre
His
Hopkins.
nickname's Nuke.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
He's
a
a
fucking
fucking bomb.
sweet nickname. Holy shit.
He's a baller. For
It's
sure.
like Duke Nukem.
Get out of here.
But I just give you a hard time for saying this. I think he would sign with the Bears. That would be a
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Just give him a
We
hard
were just
time.
giving shit about that. That's great.
But if you think about it, the Bears have a lot of holes on the wide receiver portion. All right?
Yeah, I mean, they
Like,
can
they can-
literally
they
just
need-
sign 4 or 5 of them and
Yeah.
hope a couple work.
So I think they go out and draft one and they sign a vet like Bruce Ellington to be a Band-Aid wide receiver. Like you hear about Band-Aid quarterbacks, he's going to play a year or two there, and then you're going to eventually see that guy, the rookie that they draft this year, take over his spot. So I can see him going to the Bears. He's not going to command a bunch of money because he is older. So I think it would be a good fit for him. It's definitely not the greatest fantasy spot, but with the name with Bruce Ellington, you're not going to go to your best fantasy spot.
Yeah, it's
so.
just... He's a wide receiver 5, probably.
Yeah, no matter where he goes.
Yeah, in fantasy at least.
Unless he finds a way. Well, no, even on the Patriots.
Yeah,
Because Tom Brady's racist.
All right, what about Montel Williams? Oh, wait, no, sorry. Tyrell Williams, restricted free agent out of Los Angeles.
You're an idiot, Nick. All right, I'm going to say that he goes. He'll be cheap if he's not tendered, and if he is tendered, I don't think they're going to use a first or second round tag on him with the receivers that the Chargers have currently. They want to get Mike Williams some more time. And then they got Keenan Allen, of course. What do you think?
My one question for you is...
Actually, I also wanted to add this in. I think he's going to go to Indy because his former wide receiver coach for the Chargers is their offensive coordinator now.
Yeah.
And I see it being a good pairing, especially if Moncrief leaves. Tyrell can go in.
They're back to... You were talking about Keenan?
Keenan Allen.
Oh, like home of the Good Burger?
Oh, God.
Come on. Seriously?
I know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Nobody else
That's
knows.
our generation.
It's hilarious.
My question for you then is, if they get rid of Tyrell Williams, who's going to take a spot?
Who else they got there?
Travis Benjamin.
Yeah, Travis Benjamin.
See, I think...
isn't he a free agent too, I think?
No. Not from what I saw. He could be. But he is going to be because I see them keeping Tyrell Williams and then getting rid of another wide receiver like Travis Benjamin to cut down that group a little bit more.
I think Travis Benjamin and Tyrell do a lot of the same things.
Yeah, but I think Tyrell
Travis
does it
Benjamin's
better.
already under contract.
Yeah, but Tyrell does it better, and he's younger, and they're going to want that. Like, he had one year, again, I talked about flash in the pans, that could have been it, but in 1 year, he had by far a better fantasy year than Travis Benjamin ever had. So, I think...
But Travis Benjamin has shown the ability. In that same year that Tyrell broke out, Travis Benjamin had a couple games where he absolutely lit it up, and Tyrell didn't do much. I think you're plug-and-play guys. They're one and the same.
But I think they keep Tyrell because they're going to want...
a little bigger, I believe.
Yeah, they're going to want to keep Tyrell because they're going to want that depth behind Mike Williams because you don't know what his health's at. He missed all last year, his rookie year.
No, he didn't miss all of it. He played in like the last 8 games. He didn't do much because he didn't see the field because a guy like Tyrell was in his way.
Well, Mike Williams is going to move ahead of Tyrell, but they're going to keep him there for the depth and for the 3 wide receiver sets. Tyrell's not a bad wide receiver, so they're going to want to keep him there to just keep weapons. Now, unless they go on and plan on drafting someone, that may change, but I don't see him doing it 2 years in a row.
If they draft someone, it's probably a 6th, 7th rounder,
yeah.
And that's just to take the 4th receiver spot.
I mean, if they do tender him, I definitely can see the Colts going after him, depending on what they have. I think
I think it depends on
Chargers,
what tender they... If they use a 1st or 2nd round tender, I think he stays a Charger.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to happen.
My feeling is he's going to stay a Charger. I think that's probably one of the better spots for him. Unless, like we said, Moncrief leaves the Colts, he goes there. But I definitely am leaning towards that he's staying a Charger. I just think they want that.
I just love thinking about Luck throwing it to Tyrell. I think that's the kind of guy he needs. Because you got a little speedy guy, you got a big speedy guy on the other side, boom. You're in the money-making business.
I just think Tyrell stays a Charger. I'm not completely disagreeing with you.
No, like I said, I don't completely disagree with you staying either, but...
All right, how about we go with John Brown, also known as Mr. Brownstone.
Again, not funny.
You guys are too young for that one, probably.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, I say he goes. I'm going to find out why I say he goes and where he goes a little bit later, but I'm saying he goes to Atlanta. He's going to take over that Gabriel role. He's a better all-around wide receiver than them. He's going to add another facet to their offense. I think that is by far the best scenario for him. It gives him another game. It gives him a game-breaking wide receiver on the opposite side of Julio. I think that's one of his best spot to go to.
I could see it. I don't necessarily disagree, but I do agree with you that he's going to go somewhere. I think he needs to get out of a high-altitude place. If you didn't know, Arizona is the 2nd highest altitude city for football in the U.S., and he has sickle cell, so that altitude affects sickle cell.
Goddamn sickle cell.
But I think if the Packers don't get Moncrief, John Brown would be a great addition as an outside receiver with the Packers.
I don't see that one. I just don't think John Brown's a Packers guy, like a Packers wide receiver style guy. A lot of things could change because of the new GM.
Exactly.
But I just don't see it right now until I know what Gutekunst or whatever his name is,
Gutekunst.
what his style is, I can't say that he's going to go to the Packers because I do not see it.
You could say the same thing with Moncrief then.
Well, Moncrief is more like a Cobb.
No, he's not.
Kinda.
He's 6'2".
Okay, he's
4'4",
taller.
40.
Who cares? Cobb, he's more like a Cobb where he's good on his crossing routes and everything like that. And then he can eventually break it deep. That's what Moncrief does.
I honestly think John Brown is great at crossing routes too. So, I mean, he's a little
don't-
smaller bodied of a guy, but he brings the speed that the Packers need. I think.
Yeah, I mean, you may be right. I just don't see him being a pack. Like knowing the Packers,
Bring
following
the
Packers,
speed.
I don't see it.
That's if he can stay healthy.
Yeah,
And so-
other than his like that is true. Other than his sickle cell, he has hamstring issues and everything
Well,
like
that's
that.
what
Made him.
sickle cell is. That's what it does. It prevents the healing of tissue injuries.
Shows how much I know.
Yeah.
All right, well that explains it.
So basically, you
And
just
Ty
don't wanna
Montgomery
get
has the
stabbed
same
or-
same thing. He has sickle cell as
yeah,
well.
I knew that. I just didn't know what it did.
Nick, next guy.
Right on. Jordan Matthews out of Buffalo.
Oh, shit, we agree again.
You
God
fuckers.
damn it.
This is getting a little weird.
We never agree.
I don't think there's
This is-
enough
yeah,
of
this
I
is
that.
wouldn't
weird.
say never agree, but
we
there-
rarely agree.
There's not. Yeah,
We-
the alcohol level isn't high enough yet. I believe.
Just wait, it's getting there.
It'll
as
go.
we get towards
I'm
the
on
end
two.
of the podcast. But we both think that he's gonna stay because Buffalo needs wide receivers more than I don't even know. AP needed his knee that year he tore his ACL.
AP's kid needed that switch.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
That was a better one.
Too soon though.
I like
It's
that.
plenty of
Nah,
time
it's been
now.
a couple of years. You're good.
That was a good one.
All right.
Damn it, PG. I was
that's a
supposed to
funny
come up with
joke.
that shit.
Yeah, he's
Anything you wanted to add? Yeah.
definitely staying. You have Kelvin Benjamin, Jordan Reed, and Zay Jones.
Not Jordan Reed.
Jordan Matthews. What the fuck was I thinking?
Who
But
knows?
Jordan-
You had switches and little boys on your mind.
But Jordan Matthews, I think they're gonna stick with that for one more year. Hopefully, Kelvin Benjamin loses a couple of 50 pounds,
Yeah, at least.
and it kind of helps him out. Jordan Matthews needs to move inside to be good.
That's his bread and butter is playing in the slot. You can't force him to play outside.
But I know.
I mean, and being 6'3", you'd be like, oh, he's a perfect outside receiver, but he's not.
So I think what they need to do is I know he has Zay Jones guys, but I think they need to bring another guy go on the outside.
Zay Jones, let him develop.
Yeah,
you can't give him the snaps he needs if you bring another guy in.
You could easily bring in another guy.
How
doesn't
often
doesn't
do
need
the
to be a
Bills
big
run
name
four
guy.
receiver sets?
Doesn't need to be a big name guy. Bring in a guy and make different packages for him and Zay Jones. Another guy to help you on outside, because you don't want Zay Jones taking all the reps and getting his confidence down. You just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is, Mitch. It's just like Kaiser with the quarterback. Him going in, getting taken out, because he's been bad. Completely shot
But
his
Zay
confidence.
Jones hasn't been getting benched. That's the thing.
But he's been struggling, and it's been clear
Yeah,
that
because
he
Tyrod
struggles.
didn't get him the fucking
Well, yeah,
ball.
he doesn't have the greatest quarterback, but that's
Get a
not
guy
going
who
to
can
change.
get him the ball. The guy had 220 something targets.
The quarterback
and caught a fucking huge percentage of them.
the quarterbacks is not going to change though.
Could
Who are you going to bring in?
I don't know. Sam Bradford.
Jay Cutler.
They're not going to bring in Sam Bradford. He may not even play. He played one game and was out the whole year because of his knee again.
It's still worth it.
No, how is that worth it? One game
You're not gonna. No, I'm saying to bring a guy in who can actually throw the ball accurately.
for one game, and then he has to go out because he has to get his knee scoped.
You don't know that's gonna happen again.
He has had problems
He played
with
a
his
full
knee the
season
whole
just the other
career.
year.
He had
He
problems
played
with
a
his
full
knees his
season
whole
just the
career.
other year.
The thing that's not going to change, Mitch, is that he's had a history of having knee problems. Why are you going to take that risk?
He's had a history of knee problems. What is Tanya Harding in their locker room?
Hitting him or hiring her boyfriend to break his leg.
Taking the bats to the knee? Come on.
Whatever.
You're not bringing Sam Bradford in. You're not bringing Sam Bradford in to change that thing around. That's how you know Mitch is wrong, because he just keeps on interrupting you.
You're saying the same shit over and over.
Well, Mitch is wrong about a lot of things,
Bullshit.
usually.
Thank you, Nick.
You want to ship this year?
Are we going on to the next guy here?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, I've been waiting for this guy. It's the long-lost son of Peter Gabriel from that band Genesis. Wait, what's his actual name? I forget.
Taylor.
Oh, Taylor. Taylor. Go ahead,
Taylor
guys.
Gabriel.
All right. At first, I thought he was gonna stay because he'd be a cheap third option, and then I saw a little farewell note from him on Twitter to the saying thanks to the Falcons organization. So I do think he's gonna leave.
Where? Think quick. You don't have it on there. Think quick.
Browns. I think
He came from the Browns.
Was that a
Browns-
question?
It doesn't matter. They're saying that Terrell Pryor could end up with the Browns again.
That's different because they tried to trade for him again.
Yeah, whatever.
They didn't go out and try to trade for Taylor Gabriel.
He wasn't on the market. But I think that the Browns could use a slot receiver. They don't have a true slot guy there right now. And I actually believe if they were to bring in Terrell Pryor, that would be bad because they have 3 guys who don't play the slot.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say he leaves too. But other than saying the Browns, I'm going to go with they're going to kind of slyly make a little trade with Arizona here in free agency. He's going to go to Arizona and be the burner.
Did you switch yours? You had something else there before.
Oh, I definitely switched it.
What did you have before?
I don't know.
He had to replace
he's
his
gonna-
Browns as a burner.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Browns.
Oh, is that what you're
Jerron and
Yeah.
John.
He's going to replace Jerron and John Brown as the burner in Arizona.
I could see that, actually. That is a good one.
Oh,
so
I
they're-
thought you guys were talking about the team, the Browns.
No,
they are
they
definitely a
had 2
burner.
receivers, Jerron and John Brown.
That's how you know
gotcha.
you know nothing about football.
No, I don't. I'm just here to, I don't know, say
But no,
useless information.
We all know Arizona loves their speed guys. And they don't get much faster than Taylor Gabriel.
He is always one of the fastest players on the field.
He has proven time and time again, doesn't matter who you're going to put on him, one time in that game, he's going to beat him deep. Just because of speed alone.
He'll have
And
one
that's
catch
what-
for 68 yards and a touchdown.
And that's what the Browns did. Well, the 2 players, not the
Yeah,
Browns.
Jerron
Holy
and John.
shit,
Yeah.
this is confusing.
But that's what they did. They weren't fantastic. Like, John Brown was a better route runner. Jerron Brown and J.J. Nelson, they're more of
J.J.
just-
Nelson is still there.
Yeah, but I still think they bring in Taylor Gabriel.
Well, they
just 'cause
also
like the
need
speed too
2
much.
outside receivers because Fitz only plays the slot now.
So they love their speed too much. He's gonna go there, and I think he's gonna have a decent year. It's not gonna be like their run to the Super Bowl, but he's gonna have a decent year. They use their speed a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, speed is
Well,
good.
actually, we'll see how it works with their new coaching staff.
Oh yeah,
Because that was a
could
whole
change.
Arians thing.
Yeah, that could
Now
change.
they bring in a defensive guy as their head coach. I don't know who their offensive coordinator is. I didn't look
I have
into
no
that.
idea.
But I guess we'll see. But if it were still Arians there, I could definitely see that being an option.
Well, we're gonna play some games, I guess. But before we do that, the hookah's loaded, so we should take a break.
The hookah.
Yeah. All right, we'll be back. All right, and we're back. Hopefully you guys haven't passed out, because Mitch and BJ have. So I'm gonna do this by myself. Here we go. We're gonna do a lightning round. I'm gonna ask questions, and they're gonna tell you if they're gonna go or not.
Ask a fucking question.
Okay. Brandon Coleman,
He's gone.
Goes too good at drafting wide receivers.
Danny Amendola,
Also gone.
Want to say stays because he's white, but he goes.
Willie Snead,
Another guy who is gone.
Goes maybe to the Patriots.
Eric Decker,
I'd say that for every guy. Yeah, I think he goes as well. Too much talent in Tennessee.
Yeah, goes too many young players. Maybe to the Chiefs.
and Mike Wallace.
He's gone too.
Goes. No one wants him. Old. Sucks. All the above.
So, did anybody stay on that one?
Nope.
Holy shit.
They all suck.
Hey,
Except for Willie.
Willie,
you stole my Chiefs thing.
what are you guys
Decker.
arguing about now?
Oh.
Oh, all right.
Stole my
Well,
thing.
if they don't get Terrell Pryor, I think that's the way that they go.
Yeah.
So.
We're going to do the running backs now. I think same thing. Same style format. Lightning.
no, we're not doing the lightning yet. That's at
We're
the
slowing
end
it
of the
down,
running
yep,
backs.
and then we'll speed it up.
Oh, nobody put that in my goddamn script here.
Well,
If you read the thing,
Jesus Christ.
What? Where?
This
it's
is
at
a
the
mess.
bottom.
I can edit that.
This is a mess. It just says our. If it's the lightning round, I'm gonna say the lightning round.
Well, yeah, but that's what this whole thing was. B. This is all under. Oh no, shit. You're right.
He's a fucking idiot.
All right.
Our producer's on drugs.
So that's how you put filler into a show. No. So yeah, we're just gonna talk about running back free agents now, because I assume we already did the wide receivers.
Yep.
Okay.
First one's pretty easy.
Yeah, Le'Veon Bell from Pittsburgh.
Le'Veon Bell. Come on.
Whatever.
Finally butchered a name. I was ready for that. All right. You want to go first? I think we're going to say the exact same.
Yeah, he stays. Offense is too high powered with him. Why fuck with it?
And I also think that the only other team who could afford him would be a shit team, and he doesn't want to go play for a shit team.
$100 million to go to the Jets. That's what he said.
And he said fuck that. And he still said fuck that.
So yeah, he stays. Next, Lightning.
No, we're not doing lightning. You said you just yelled at me.
I was kidding.
You son
Nick.
of a bitch. All right, Deion Lewis in New England.
All right. I think he goes. The Patriots are way too stingy. They're not going to spend money. And I look for him to be the Lightning to Derrick Henry's Thunder with the Titans.
You are extremely gay.
Fuck you, motherfucker. But as I was saying, I feel like the Titans, they could really use a pass-catching back. I don't think they see Derrick Henry as a receiving back. And the quick twitch that Deion has would be perfect in open space. Especially with a new offensive coordinator, that offense is going to be completely different.
My initial thought that he was going to go too, but then over the weekend I heard a report that the Patriots are already looking into re-signing him. So
I didn't see that.
Yeah, so I'm switching my stance. I say he stays. Usually if the Patriots wants a guy, he fucking stays around, and you're fucking disgusting.
Oh my god!
Had to get a little.
That's
fat
gonna
on
clear the room out.
Hope fucking Mike picked that one up. No, if the Patriots wants a guy to stay on their team, Bill Belichick is going to talk him into staying on their team. And he has a role on the team. That role's never going to be taken away. They love him. I think he stays.
They're not going to pay him.
Bill Belichick will make him stay on his team. He'll lock him in a fucking room, whip him until he signs a fucking contract.
Holy
You know,
shit, now
someday-
you think he's a racist. I was saying Tom Brady.
I'm not calling anybody
Someday,
racist.
I wouldn't be shocked to hear in the news that Bill Belichick has people locked in his basement.
Torture chambers.
Yeah.
I
he's got a
actually, I
torture
think
chamber.
he's probably a serial killer.
There's only one way he gets all
That's
those
why
good
the
players
refs
on the
go
team.
missing every week.
Yeah.
They don't give him a call and he murders them.
Oh boy.
But no, I think he stays. I don't think he's going to command that much money either.
And
Especially a hometown discount. And I talk him into it.
he's not going to take a hometown discount. He hasn't made enough money.
Are you in his mind?
He
You
hasn't
know what
made
he's
enough money
thinking?
in his career.
He's winning
back.
Super Bowls.
It's a running back. Running backs take the money
He's
that
winning
they can get
Super
'cause they have a
Bowls.
short career. Next guy.
Winning
Next.
Super Bowls.
What?
And
Next
this
guy
year's
is Carlos Hyde.
Hyde.
Out of San Francisco.
So is this Dr. Jekyll or Dr. Hyde?
Oh my God! Shut up.
Carlos Hyde is my guy.
These guys.
I think that he's going to leave, and he's going to go to a team like Tampa Bay, and he's going to complete a very good-looking young offense. Except for, what's his name? Deshaun Jackson. He's not too young.
Yeah. I don't like Tampa Bay. I just their offense
Now
was
we're
so
saying
bad
another
last
day,
year.
motherfucker.
I say nothing good about Tampa Bay.
Yeah, when
I like Chris Godwin. That's because he's on my team. But no, their offense looked awful last year, and it was supposed to be a breakout season for them.
that's because they didn't have a running game, except for Peyton Barber against the Packers.
But
Who didn't have a running game against the Packers?
Yeah, thank you. I guess yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That was his only good game.
I agree with you though that Carlos Hyde goes, but I say he goes to somewhere like the Giants, maybe the Seahawks.
Okay, you want to say the Seahawks and talk about a bad performing offense? They were an awful offense last year.
But they've proved that they can be good with a running game.
Tampa Bay didn't have a running game.
What did Tampa Bay ever prove?
Dude, they're a young
Are they gonna
team,
be
and Winston
mediocre?
played hurt all season.
Again, the excuse for everybody coming. He did play hurt, but that is the excuse coming from every down performance. But no,
And
I think
to get back to your Giants, I feel like that would be also a great landing spot. But after the combine this weekend, I think there's no way Saquon gets past the Giants.
yeah, they're not going to sign someone for that fact. That's why I think his landing spot is going to be the Seahawks. They need a lead guy. They don't have it. Granted, we need to retool their offensive line, but they need to get a lead running back.
Well, they find a new running back that they love every fucking year. The guy plays 4 games and then is hurt the rest of the season.
Yep. But Carlos Hyde is not going to be that. That's the type of running back they want. They want a physical running back. That's the type of running back they want. So it fits their scheme. I think it works best. I think that's where he has his best
And
season.
Carlos Hyde finally proved this last year that he can stay healthy for a whole season. So I like that a lot.
I especially think that's where his best season comes if he goes to the Seahawks. They have weapons. They have Russell Wilson, one of the better quarterbacks in the league. So I think that's the best spot for him.
And their coach is really good at chewing gum.
Oh, yeah.
No, I fucking hate that guy.
A horse mouth.
Okay, Mr. Crawley. Oh, Isaiah Crowell.
Crowell.
Whatever. You know what I fucking meant.
He's another guy that I think goes. The Browns showed that they like Duke a lot. And when Duke's given the ball, he plays pretty well. But I see Crowell going to the Patriots and filling that LeGarrette Blount role if they cut Gillislee. Because they can do it without any cap casualty.
I could see that. Patriots is definitely a spot to go for underperforming players.
Yeah, they always bring in a guy who hasn't done much lately, and then they bring him in, and the guy somehow becomes a star.
Yeah, I agree. He goes. I mean, the Browns need to make room for Barkley somehow. you have Duke, and then you're gonna have Barkley. You have no room for Crowell. Simple as that. They're gonna get him, especially after seeing his combine. I wouldn't be surprised if they take him right away.
Oh my God, it was ridiculous.
But other than who'd you say he goes to again?
Patriots.
Patriots. I don't see him going to the Patriots. I see him going to the Giants.
We were just talking about maybe the Giants aren't going to sign a running back just in case they can get saved.
Yeah,
too.
but I don't think Crowell's going to be a first week guy. He had such a bad year. That
Yeah,
I think he'll be there by the
it.
end of the draft, and then it'll be like, all right, we didn't get him. We're going to need to find someone to play with Darkwa and get Crowell.
I feel like he has a pretty similar game to Darkwa, though.
I know, but you don't need different games if you know what you want to do. I mean,
I don't know. Whatever.
but I think that may be his best spot. I'm not a huge Crowell believer. I know there's people out there that love him.
I like his talent. I don't love it. I
Yeah.
think he's a solid running back.
Yeah.
And he
So
got stuck in a
really
situation.
picking his spot is tough because he's not like good. He wasn't awful. He's kind of that middle of the road guy.
He's
That
a 2-down back
literally-
as well. He's
yeah.
not much of a receiver.
that
I mean,
literally
he's shown
any
he
team
can
could
catch the ball.
any team could sign him just for depth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a solid depth. But I think fantasy purposes, if you're looking for a good year, the Jets is probably the one because they'll be able to get him and still have money to retool their offensive line.
I do think that we're about to break a tier where these first 4 guys that we were talking about are the guys that have a chance to be a starter somewhere. And then after this, these are more of your role guys.
Yeah, I have
More of a role
one
guy.
that I think would be a starter, but we'll get to him.
All right. Next, Nick.
All right, Rex Burkhead, New England.
I say he goes kind of what. I think he goes to Tennessee because they're gonna need somewhat of a receiving back there.
Kind of like what I said with
Yep.
Dion.
He's not as quick as Dion, not as shifty as Dion, but he can go out there. He can catch the ball. He'll be a good compliment.
Every
to
time he
Henry.
touches the ball, he looks good. too.
Yeah. So he'll be a good compliment to Henry. I think he'll get a lot of reps there, especially on third downs. I think he'll have a solid fantasy season there. At least would be a guy that you wouldn't completely dread plugging in on bye weeks. Obviously, you would want someone better, but you wouldn't dread it.
I feel there's a couple different guys that fit the same role that could just plug in and be that back for the Titans.
Yeah.
As I'm going to say later. But I also think that Burkhead goes, but I see him going to the Jets. The Jets aren't sold on anyone they have right now. They really hate Bilal Powell for some odd reason. I think he's a pretty
Yeah, I don't know
solid
why.
player, and they just don't want to give him a shot.
They're saying that he's not starting back, but every time he gets a start, he does good.
Was
Like, I
that
don't
2
get it.
years ago when he was lit the world on fire the last
Well,
8
even
weeks of the
last
season?
year when Matt Forte was out, he went out there and he produced well and gave a huge bump to fantasy owners.
Yeah,
So
you
I
could
really
plug
don't
him
get
in,
it.
not expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're messing up there, but yeah, that leaves the door open for someone coming in to fill that spot. So if you're holding on to Aguirre really just hang on to him, and
I
you
can
kind of have
even
to see
see
what
a
happens.
Burkhead, Bilal, and Powell three-headed monster in that backfield. I don't know if they're going to commit to anyone unless they sign.
You said Powell twice.
Oh, I thought I said McGuire.
But no, I don't like. I'm not a huge fan of McGuire. Like I had him on a team, and he didn't really produce. That's why I got rid of him. I got an offer for him. I got rid of him. Granted, it was for Martellus Bennett, and the fucker decided to say retire. Now he's saying he's coming back, so that kind of ended up fucking me. But I didn't give up much for him. McGuire could easily have a solid year. Could easily do absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to wait and see on that one.
All right, Nick.
All right, we got Jerick McKinnon.
Doug Martin.
Yeah, you skipped a guy.
Oh, shit. Doug Martin.
All right, this is the guy that I think he's going to go somewhere and he's going to get a chance to start. This is, again, going back to what you're saying, with Crowell going to the Patriots, I think he fits that role. Older guy that didn't really do much, goes to the Patriots and revitalizes his career. When I look at him, I kind of see Patriots back. Granted, he has had a lot of three awful years. But I think this is a guy that the Patriots would take a chance in. If they obviously have to get rid of some of the running backs, especially if they're trying to bring on Deion Lewis again. So I think that would be his best spot. Other than that, I don't know where he would go.
I honestly don't see much out of Doug anymore. I think that he may even be out of the league. He may sign in mid-season due to an injury to someone somewhere. But if you look at his stats the last 2 years, I know yards per carry isn't like a final say of anything, but he's only averaged 2.9 yards per carry each of his last two seasons. And he's been injured so much. And on top of that, he had that 4-game suspension to start last year.
I think someone would bring him on just for depth. Obviously, you can't really pinpoint it, but...
I mean, yeah, I could see him also going somewhere being a second, third-string running back, but he's not going to... I don't see him getting a whole lot of fantasy relevancy.
All right, now we'll go to Jerick McKinnon. This time I'm right.
That's a first. I see him, another guy that I see going to the Titans to potentially be that Lightning. And he's shown the type of player that he is, and for some reason, the Vikings just didn't continue to give him the workload. But I feel like he's a guy where if Derrick Henry were to go down, you can plug him in as your full-time back if he's hurt. I
agree with you that he's going to go. I don't agree with you with their spot. Now, I kind of have to think about this because I'm switching it last minute. When I had Deion Lewis leaving, I had him going to the Lions because I like their faster, their shiftier backs. And I kind of see Jerick McKinnon he's a faster back. He has some moves to him, but he has the body type to run the ball. Where if you look at Amir Abdullah and Theo Riddick, they don't. So I think the Lions would bring him in, and they would they're done with Amir Abdullah. That experiment is over.
Yeah, it's completely done.
So they're going to combine his body type for early work and mix in Theo Riddick like they always wanted to.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think that what the Lions do is they've tried this with their small-bodied backs. Now, I mean, Jerick McKinnon isn't quite the same size or whatever, but he's still a smaller bodied guy. Yeah, I think that they're ready to move on, get a big back, bring Theo in for third downs.
But the thing is, they love their smaller, shiftier backs, even going all the way back to Reggie Bush. So there is a trend there. I think they're going to stick with
that's
it.
what I'm saying.
And
it's not like their experiment and they're like, fuck it, we need a
But it's not like Jerick McKinnon is like a Reggie Bush or Amir Abdullah. He is a bigger body, not the biggest
5'9", 205. He's a little guy.
He has some muscle to him.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, he's little. I think, yeah.
If you think they're going to go on and bring in a Carlos Hyde, because he's big, or not Carlos Hyde, but a guy like
Crowell, I could see also going there. I wish I would have thought of that up until you brought up your Lions thing.
I don't see it, but that's where I see it. I now think that he's going to go. I did say that he was going to go share time with San Francisco, just because I know
that's
Shanahan,
the same situation there. They have a bunch of smaller body guys.
But Shanahan likes the smaller, quicker body guys. Look back in Atlanta. I mean, obviously,
Tevin's a big dude. Tevin's 6'1", 215.
He's not. That's not that big.
6'1"? That's a big running back.
Height really does. When you're playing a running back, does height really even matter? It's not like you're going to go up and try to jump over a guy.
Receiving routes.
It's not like you're going to try to jump over a guy. Well, no, you know what I'm talking about. Like, if you're hurdling someone because their head's down, you're hurdling someone because their head's down, and you can jump that high. But it's not like you're going to try to jump over a guy and try to catch something over him.
It's been done.
It's been done, but that's not what you're expecting out of your wide receiver. So does height really matter?
I'm just saying, that's not the same kind of guy.
I think that's what they're looking for, and Shanahan has proved that it's worked under his system, going back to Tevin Coleman and Devontae Freeman. So I think that's
the same pairing.
No shit, it's not the same pairing. It's not the same players.
Breida and McKinnon are like the exact same mold. Coleman and Freeman are different style backs.
A little bit, not much. I mean,
Freeman is a little power back, and Tevin is a one-cut slasher.
Right, but that was only my second thing. I think the Lions bring him in, to be honest.
Next.
Nice. Right. Alfred Morris.
All right, I'm gonna switch mine up here since you wanted to switch yours up. And I'm also gonna say that I'm gonna say that he goes, but I'm gonna say Wait, did you even say Alfred Morris? Yeah. Okay, my bad. I'm gonna say he goes to the Lions. Be that first, second down back. Then they bring in Theo.
I think Alfred Morris.
And Alfred showed really well while Zeke was out last year.
All right, two things. You could literally bring anybody off the street. Well, any physical person. I mean, any athletic person off the streets. Go play running back behind that offensive line in Dallas, and they'll do decent.
Actually, they were ranked pretty low last year as offensive linemen go because they had a couple injuries on the offensive line.
But they eventually got healthy. But Alfred Morris, in his defense, even when they had the injured offensive line, he did do good. I'm not saying he's a bad back. But I do think his first and second down time is kind of over. I think he's a guy that he needs to come in and give a guy a breather. And that's why I agree with you that he's going to leave. He's obviously not going to stay behind Zeke where he's not going to get any work. That's just what it is. I think he's going to go over to the Bills, and he's going to be that guy that goes in and relieves Shady. So the Bills don't have to run Shady as much as they have.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I don't think that's...
I mean, like you said, Alfred Morris did good in Dallas when he had his shot. He can easily do the same thing over there in Bills.
I actually think there's a lot of these lower tier running backs that could fit into the Bills. Just need a guy who can step in and relieve Shady. That's all it is.
Like you said, now, like you said, a lot of these guys could go there and do it, but we got to pick where their best fantasy spot is, and that's where I think it is.
All right, Jeremy Hill in Cincinnati.
Yeah, a lot of people say that he's gone. I know they're gonna give Mixon a lot of the work, but I say that he stays because the organization loves him. He's not gonna command a lot of money. I know they have it's tough because they have Gio too, but organizational love is the key here, and I think they're gonna keep him around just because of that.
Yeah, but I don't think so. I think he's gone. The GM already said they were moving on from him. This was a month ago already, I believe. And I think he's another guy that could go to the Pats and be the hammer. Be the LeGarrette Blount role for them.
Yeah, it's tough. I flip-flopped on this a lot. But when I went over to going, I couldn't really find a spot, you know? There's no real home for, like, Jeremy Hill where all you have is your size. You're not really that freakishly athletic or quick.
Oh, so after that first season, I thought he was going to be such a good player, and then...
Yeah. He did. He showed a lot, and then he fell off the hill, but that's the risk with these running backs.
Nice little pun.
Yeah. But there's some risk with these running backs. It really is. They can go out and kill it for a few years, and in 4 years, they're done.
Yeah, I mean, hashtag 2 to 3 year window.
Yep.
All right, speaking of LeGarrette Blount.
All right. I think he goes as well. I'm not sure if it'll happen, but I could see the Chargers desperately needing a power back for 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 goal line situations. Because Melvin's not a very big guy. And I think that he would fit in perfectly going in and just stealing touchdowns there. And I think that offense is on its way up, even though everyone says that every year. But they're a high-scoring offense, and I think that he'd get a lot of goal line situations there.
The only reason I'm worried about that is because they like Eckler.
But I mean, that's another little guy.
He's not a power back, but how do you disperse the touches so
Well-
you still get Melvin, him, and they're gonna use Eckler because they like him.
Well, yeah, I'm saying that LeGarrette will go there for his one purpose: 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 goal line.
So are
That's
you
it.
saying this is in this situation it'll kind of be suck for Laguerre because that's all he only gets a couple of carries unless he's going to be touchdown dependent.
Yeah, he'll be completely touchdown dependent, but there's also games where he could score 3 touchdowns on 3 yards on 3 carries.
All right, I agree. He's gone. They brought Ajayi in for a reason. They like Corey Clement
Yeah,
over
they
there.
really like Corey Clement.
So he's his days in Philly are done, even though he wants to stay. He's a journey running back. He's obviously going to go. Who's going to pay him the most money? But I think
he's won his rings already.
his best landing spot fantasy purposes would probably be the Colts. You have a young running back in Marlon Mack. He's going to get the early stuff. And then, like you said, he's going to be their 3rd and 1 goal line situation back. And he's going to go in there and he's going to do that. But this way, he's going to have more of a role spelling Marlon Mack than he will in.
Yeah,
with the
I
Chargers.
thought the same. I was thinking the Colts could be a spot too, but I just thought that the Chargers offense is a little more high powered. You need to have better chances to score there.
I like it.
And that's why
I like
the
that
Chargers for that.
it's high powered, but I think he'll be able to get less goal line work with the Colts because obviously Marlon Mack's not a machine. He can't play every down. So I think that will be his best bet. But obviously, journeyman running back, going to go where the money's at. That's where it is.
Another reason I could see him going there is because the Colts are also in the mix for Saquon. They could still sign LeGarrette Blount to have a role, and then if they end up having Saquon fall to him, like they can just toss him to third down back and not ever use him. Like
Yeah, exactly.
it's not going to be a big waste of money.
Exactly.
All right, Nick. Next,
All right, we're on to Orleans Darkwa.
you can go.
I think he stays. I don't think it's going to be. I don't think he's going to get the workload that he got last year, but he is a serviceable back for him. He proved it last year with their shitty offensive line.
Yeah, he had a nice little run down the stretch of the season too.
Yep. I think they're going to move on from Perkins, even though he's young. He proved that he was a bum.
The guy has no vision.
He's kind of like your boy Trent.
Trent, yeah, I did like Trent.
But he's going to stay. He's going to work with Coleman and him and whoever they bring in. I think they have to bring in another guy, kind of solidify that group. If they get Barkley, all that's out the window.
Well, and another thing is Darkwa is going to be cheap too.
Yeah.
It's not like someone's going to go out there and sign him to a big deal.
Because he didn't set the world on fire last year, so he's not going to get a lot of money.
Dude was a spark freak though. He killed it
Yeah.
at every facet of the combine.
So I think he stays, but if they get Barkley, if for some reason the Browns don't take him number 1, like now reports said they're considering it,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happens with him then.
Well, I mean, by the time the
'Cause
draft
they-
even comes around, he'll probably already be re-signed, is what I think.
But the thing and the problem was that too, they like Wayne Gallman.
Oh, they're both going to be reserve players. They're not going to be shit if they sign Saquon. Saquon's going to go in and he's going to be a every down back. Only when he's gassed is when he's going to sit.
Yeah.
All right, I know this guy. He's an old hometown hero. No, I don't think he was so much of a hero, but let's talk about Eddie Lacy.
Cheeseburger Eddie.
He's
gone. He's taking his fat ass straight to McDonald's. Gone.
I was gonna say he's gonna retire because he's too fat to pass a physical because he ate so much McDonald's this offseason.
Oh boy.
Yep, he's done. He had his chance with here in Green Bay and even in Seattle where they put him at a weight loss program and he proved that he can't stay at a game ready weight.
Well, I mean, and if you go to a team that needs that much help at running back and still can't help, like
They had no running backs this year. They were starting a converted
J.D.
wide receiver.
McKissick.
Yeah. Just like the Packers were, but the Packers had another year of experience in them.
yeah.
But he got no playing time and they had no running backs. That's when you
That's,
know something's wrong.
It's another sad story. Wisconsin claims another one.
Yep.
That's what happened. He
got
came to
depressed and he
Wisconsin.
started going to McDonald's because he wasn't
Yeah.
getting his snaps.
God damn it. All right, that's going to be the end of whatever the hell that just was.
Free agent running backs.
Yeah, that's it. So, should we take a break?
Yeah, let's take a little break.
All right, we're going to take a break. And drink some beer. I don't know. Whatever these guys want to do. Jerk
got
off.
I'm gonna finish
Sounds
a
good.
handle of Tito's quick.
Ah!
Oh, fuck.
All right. We'll see you guys in a bit. All right. Welcome back. We're going to do another little game, another lightning round, I think, but this time with the running backs. So, you guys know how it goes. Ready?
Set, go.
Thomas Rawls.
I think he stays.
Goes, bring in a new running back.
Mike Davis.
I'm gonna say he goes.
Yeah, he goes, don't know where. Not that good.
Damian Williams.
Goes.
Goes, didn't really prove much last year.
I also think that the Dolphins may bring in C.J. Anderson
Possibility. Yeah.
if he gets cut.
Jamal Charles.
Goes, I don't think much is left in the tank for him.
God, you're such a douchebag.
He checked his line.
Next.
Next. There is no next. On to free agent tight ends. Not a lightning round, so you guys can discuss a little bit, I guess. We'll start with Trey Burton in Philadelphia.
I think he goes. I think he's ready to get out of the backup role. I can see him being a top 10 tight end in the NFL, and I think he's going to go to my team, the Packers, who desperately need a tight end, a young one.
Yeah, I kind of hope he goes to the Packers, but I don't see it happening. I think New Orleans admits that they fucked up with Fleener, toss him to the curb and bring him in and get another playmaking tight end in their system.
Yep, that could be too.
Jimmy Graham. He's still around?
Yes.
Yes, he is.
Shit.
I think he goes, and I think he's going to have a reunion with the Saints.
Yeah, I mean, that could very possibly happen, but reunions don't really work that well, so I kind of hope this is the guy the Packers bring in. It's more realistic.
Yeah, but you really want them to sign another old dude at the end of his career?
I mean, he didn't have a bad year last year, so.
Touchdown-wise, he had a great year. Yard-wise, not so
But
much.
then again, Seahawks is a run-oriented team that never really fit his style. He wasn't really a blocker. He's always a receiving tight end. And the Packers, you saw what he did with A-Rod did with Finley. Give him another big receiving tight end. They're going to be a scary fucking offense if that happens.
Yeah, I also wouldn't mind Jimmy Graham coming to the Packers. That would be a good spot.
Yep, that would be great, actually. I'd love it.
All right, Nick.
A little pre-jizz before the season.
Oh, yeah, your Martellus Bennett the second.
Oh, boy.
Not going to quit on us.
Yeah, probably not.
Austin Safarian Jenkins.
I think he stays. When he was there last year after his suspension, he proved to be a capable tight end target. He's young. He's pretty athletic. He's huge. And he also had like 3 touchdowns that weren't called touchdowns because the NFL doesn't know what a fucking catch is.
Yeah, I think he stays too. It just gives him another young piece to build around for the future. They're still a couple years off. They need to find themselves a quarterback. I think he stays. Give him another piece.
Tyler Eifert.
Eifert.
Of like the Eiffel Tower in Paris.
Shut the
Go.
Oh my god.
Oh, Cincinnati, I think he's with, right? Yeah, sure.
Was.
All
Alright, I say he goes. There's a lot of risk going with him with his injuries. So
High risk, high reward.
I don't know where he's gonna go. I think that someone's gonna give him a shot to come in and prove themselves. There's a lot of teams out there that need tight ends. I would love to see him to go to Denver. They have 2 good wide receivers on their team already. Adding in a tight end with that, I think they would be able to make it work, even if they had to start the shitty Brock Osweiler. I think it would help make them serviceable and potentially get them back into the playoffs.
I don't know. We'll see. I think that he's going to go as well. But I think his best landing spot would be to go to the Texans. They don't really have a standout tight end right now. It's just a bunch of guys that get hurt every year. I think they had 4 or 5 tight ends end up on IR last year, which is just outrageous. Which, I mean, Eifert could be the 6th for them next year because of what his injury history is. But I think he'll go somewhere, preferably the Texans, on a 1-year prove-it deal. See if he can stay healthy for at least 12 games.
I think if you're on a prove-it deal, you'd like him to stay healthy for all of them.
Well, yeah, but
If
I'm
you're
just
betting on
saying.
yourself.
I'm just saying I'd rather him stay healthy for at least 12 than the 4 that he's usually healthy.
I mean, I'm with you. I don't think he signs for much longer than 1 year, no matter where he goes. But But you got to remember, the Texans have C.J. Fedorowicz, which is he's always been a productive tight end one playing.
No.
So he has. But he has, though.
No.
Okay. But he has.
Look at the stats.
I have. I look at it every year. He has always been a productive tight end.
No.
He's not a tight end number 1, but he's been productive.
All right, Cameron Brate.
Yeah, I think he stays. I mean, he's a restricted free agent, so they're going to put a tender on him. I know they like O.J. Howard, so I don't think it's going to be a high tender. If someone does go after him, I think it's going to be Baltimore. They're going to try to bring in a tight end, finally bring in a tight end after Todd Heap and Dennis Pitta got hurt. They really haven't had one, so I think they're going to try to bring him in and revitalize that tight end spot for him.
How long ago was Todd Heap? I feel like he was so long ago.
He was, but that was their last real productive tight end. Pitta was close, but then he also got hurt 2 years in a row and had to call it quits.
Didn't he fuck his hip up 2 years in a row? All right, yeah, I think that the Buccaneers will give him a tender, a lower one, but I think the Seahawks, are gonna take him away.
Wait, time out. This is a not safe for work show, and you just called them the Sea Chickens.
Yeah, that's their nickname. You never heard it before?
Is there not a better name you could have came up with for
Suck
this?
chickens? I don't know.
Seacocks.
Nah. Sea chickens, that's what they're called. But anyways, I could see him
What?
going there. Jimmy Graham's gonna leave. They got another tight end who's also a free agent, or restricted free agent maybe. I'm not sure. But I could really see the Seahawks signing a big tight end to run down the seam.
I could see that. I just think Baltimore is going to put a higher bid on him because they fucking haven't had a tight end since Todd Heap, and we don't even remember when he played last. So
I think the Ravens are just going to try to sign as many guys as they possibly can.
They have
Every
a lot
team's going to say, fuck you, I don't want to go to that shithole, but
they
since
have
he's
a
an
lot of
RFA, he could be forced to go there if he doesn't.
They have a lot of holes to fill, which means they're going to be signing a lot of guys. So
Yep.
Richard Rodgers. Yeah.
Fuck. As much as I don't want to say this, I think he stays with the Packers. From what I've heard, they're already in talks for re-signing him, and I just don't agree with it. I don't think he's much. He had that great, amazing Hail Mary touchdown against the Lions a couple years back, and he's just a slow plotter. He's got great hands, but
Steel
he
traps.
doesn't get shit for separation.
I mean, it depends how much they're talking about here. If I do think he's going to stay just because, like you said, they're already in talks, and usually when the Packers are in talks with re-signing one of the guys, it's going to happen.
Especially if it's one of the guys that they drafted.
Yep. So he's going to stay. I'm hoping it's not for a lot, so he can just be a number 2 guy, and we can bring someone in, but we're going to have to see what happens. But he's staying.
Yeah. Well, they have Lance Kendricks signed for another year or two, I believe, as well.
Yeah. I don't even know why they want to bring him in then. There's so many better tight ends out there.
And I think they're going to use... He's a good blocker, too, so I think that helps.
Yeah. I guess. Whatever.
Whatever. He's not going to be very big on the fantasy radar anyways.
All right, Luke Wilson.
I think he stays. Well, I was going to say what I wrote down, but I don't think that's a great idea.
You guys obviously don't have a lot of experience in tight ends.
Why? Because we think they're going to stay?
Well, it's just that there's such a crapshoot. Like...
Yeah, especially these guys like Richard Rodgers.
I mean, Luke Wilson could end up with high upside if he is the number 1 tight end there.
Well, the thing is the Seahawks and Russell Wilson love him. Like, when he gets a starting role there, like when he starts there, he is
usually
productive.
Has like
he
a
usually,
touchdown. Or
they target him. They like the way he
that.
plays, but for some reason they keep on bringing guys in over him. I think they bring him in, they just decide to stick with him because Russell Wilson and him have that rapport.
Yeah,
I think they're going to stick with him.
Quite a bit of time outside of the game with each other. If you know what
wink,
I'm saying.
Wink.
What, like get some chicken wings?
All right, Nick. Let's do
Hot
the
sauce.
tight end lightning round now.
Oh, thank God. 10. So we're gonna play a game, like Mitch just said, because he took my job.
Well, we've been doing it after each one, so I think they know what's going on.
Hopefully they figured it out by now. Okay, so are you guys ready?
Been ready.
Yep.
Okay, they're ready. Antonio Gates.
I don't think he goes anywhere because I think he retires. I think he's done.
Yeah, he's done. He's retiring. Broke the record. Nothing else to play for.
Yep.
Ed Dickson.
I think he stays. He's a solid, youngish guy behind an aging Greg Olson.
I think he goes. There's too many people that would have wanted additional tight end, so I think he leaves them.
He did have a couple huge games last year, too.
Ben Watson.
I think that he either re-signs or he retires.
Yeah, he goes. Another potential retirement.
Virgil Green.
Is this guy even fantasy relevant?
No, he goes.
All right, that's the end of the fun games. Now, I suppose, Mitch, do you want to talk about what you guys are going to do next here?
All right, this will be the last portion of our show today. We're going to talk about how to be successful in the Dynasty format. Part 1, be prepared for your startup.
Part 1. Yeah, obviously, when you're doing a Dynasty, your startup draft is huge for your team. If you bomb your startup draft, it'll take years for you to rebuild, and it's something that you would have to gut and just keep on
Yeah, you keep
forking over
gutting
money.
and getting picks. And yeah. It takes a while, that's for sure. And then you got to hit on your picks on top of it. Oof.
So really be prepared. Look at the ADPs, know where people are going. Obviously, in startup drafts, things are going to go a little out of whack because people value their players long term differently than other people.
And if you have a guy who's drafting in the first slot or the last slot, like they may reach on a guy because they don't get to pick
Make
for a
sure
full
they get
2
their
rounds.
guy.
Yeah.
And that would, which is smart.
Yeah.
Make sure you get the guy that you want. Honestly, the best advice would be just to let the draft fall to you. Like, we just got done with the startup draft, Superflex, and our first 3 picks were wide receivers.
Because no one was taking them. They were taking running backs and quarterbacks. And we waited on quarterback until we finally found a guy that we thought was at a good point in the draft. But, I mean, the rest of our roster is stacked because of it. Our wide receivers, our running backs, our tight end.
And the nice thing is about a lot of startup drafts is that you can work out trades within the draft. You don't have to wait until they're done. Like, when we took those wide receivers, we knew we needed to get a running back. Well, we took Carlos Hyde after we took those 3. And then we knew we needed to get a running back after that, too. And we didn't like what was out there. So we reached out, talked to a guy about getting Dalvin Cook, and we ended up adding him on our team.
Trade for him.
So always stay within your startup. If you have a hole, you don't reach on a guy. You don't go out and say, I need to go get this position. Go to someone. Know if you have something that they need, offer it and fill that hole that way.
Yep. All right. Part 2. Know where your team's at after the startup and into the season. Are you rebuilding? Are you a contender? Or are you middle of the road? You got to decide right then and there which way you're going with it.
Yep. This happened to me actually this past year in our league. I thought I had a really good startup draft. I thought I was going to be a contender year 1. But then week 1, I had Allen Robinson go down with the ACL.
Injuries
and then I had Danny Woodhead go down, which I should have fucking expected.
Yeah, you should have known.
But and from there on out, I knew this year I needed to rebuild. I needed to add more young talent, collect some first round picks, so I have a better opportunity to get Saquon Barkley.
Yep, I did the same thing. I sold all my guys that were a little younger that could potentially have higher upside, but I sold them at their peak value.
Yep.
So I tried to collect as many first rounders as I could, and I think I did that. Now I have 2 in position for Saquon.
And this is really huge for being successful in Dynasty, because if you're too late on realizing I need to rebuild, you're going to either have a lot less window to work out trades for, or people are going to be content with their teams and want to hold, especially your first season. Like, I hit the window because I knew I was out early. I knew I was out of the running. I almost didn't make the playoffs, but I knew I was out of the running. And I knew I needed to rebuild. I hit the window right where there was a lot of people that were uneasy about their teams going forward, and I made a lot of good deals out of them. Like, there was a lot of contending teams that didn't have the pieces they needed, and I got...
Well, look at the guy who won it. He didn't have anywhere near the roster that should have won it, but somehow...
But I got the pieces I needed to rebuild for this year. So,
yeah,
you got to stay on top of that. The earlier you know you're out of it and you can rebuild, the better.
Yes.
Don't be overconfident about your team.
All right. Part 3. This is the most important part. You have to be active in trade talks. You got to put offers out. You got to be on top of offers sent to you and keep it going. Make sure that you either decline it right away, counter right away, get your offers out, as many as you can. The more you have out there, the better chance you have of moving the guys that you think that you can make a profit on.
Yeah, and here's the thing. If you're the guy that when you get a trade offer, you don't take it seriously, or if you run them around the bush and you don't give them a legit answer, people will stop trading you. And that's just hurts your team because then you're strictly building off of free agency and the draft. Trading in Dynasty is your biggest asset.
Yes.
Because you can get proven players for prospects, and you can get, in a stretch run, you can get proven players for picks if you are looking to win the league.
And if you know you're a contender, you can package your first rounders and try to get that last piece you need.
Exactly. So even if you feel a trade offer that's coming in is complete bullshit, take it seriously, send them a counter, see actually how far you are away from getting something done. Because I know I send out a lot of bad first offers.
Well, yeah, there's a starting point.
But I'm willing, like you said, it's a starting point. So I'm really willing to work with a guy. It's just basically me saying, hey, I'm interested in this guy. Let's work if you're interested in giving him up.
Put a feeler out. Say this is close to what I'm gonna give up, and then you guys talk. It's a lot easier instead of just sending out blind random
Go and
trades.
message them.
Like I do a lot. I send out a lot of blind trades. But then once you do that, they know that you're interested in their guy, and then maybe they message you, or you can message them and be like, hey, did you see that trade I sent you? What do you think about it? How far off are we? Let me know what you're thinking, stuff like that.
And then especially in Dynasty, this is a lot different than redraft. If you're smart about your trades and you're confident in all the trades that you've made, there's no real over trading because you're always adding assets. And other than redraft, Dynasty, you get to keep these players. So if you bring in pieces that you like and you don't feel that you overpaid for, there's no over trade there. Now, if you go out and you overpay for all your guys, that's going to hurt your team.
Mm-hmm.
So then there's over trading. But set a limit, find the guy that you want, set a limit that you want to spend, and stick to that limit. Don't overspend on them more than what you're comfortable doing.
I mean, occasionally it's okay to overspend, but I don't mean like overspend. I mean add that extra second rounder in that maybe you didn't want to.
Yeah.
If you're only a second rounder off, don't value seconds that high. I mean, it's a nice pick to have, but really the hit or miss rate on those is insane.
I mean, overspending isn't bad. I'm not telling people not to overspend because I myself is trying to work out a trade right now that would require me to overspend for a player that I think would be better than the package that I'm giving up for my long-term future. So, overspend, but overspend wisely for pieces that you know will work out for your team. Like a proven player or a real high upside rookie.
This also gets into what we're going into next, which is part 4. Don't overvalue your players. Whether that's a player you're looking to get or the players on your team that you think are so much better than they actually may be in most of the fantasy world's eyes.
And this is a hard one, especially when you have real good players like Todd Gurley or Nuke.
No, I wouldn't even say it's those guys because those guys have their value.
I'm saying that because no one really knows their value because they're at the prime right now. And what would you say that their asking price should be?
A fuck ton?
Yeah. And realistically, there's not going to be a lot of managers out there or owners out there that would be able to or would be willing to spend that. So when you get an offer, it's hard to really value it because it's not like you can go on Facebook and see someone on a page saying that they're considering offers for Nuke. It's just, you don't see that often. That's why it makes them that so much hard to gauge.
Well, I mean, that's because a lot of people don't want to have to give up half their team for Nuke.
And that's part of it.
Yeah. But what I was talking about here is more like me. Like, I have Sammy Watkins, and a lot of people are trying to lowball me for him because he hasn't been great, but I know what his upside is, so I may overvalue him a little bit because I'm a Sammy Watkins truther and I like him. And that doesn't mean just because that's what his going rate is that you have to sell him for that.
Yeah.
Like, if you like the guy, hold him. Keep him on your team.
But what happens to players that really overvalue their guys? Like, we have a couple of them in our league. They flat out, they never make trades because their asking price for their guys is so high that no one wants to spend it.
Yeah, there's a couple guys in the league that are like that.
I mean,
you're gonna
overvaluing your players really hurts your team because you can't get anything done because you want to stick with the guys that you got, especially if it's an aging piece. I know, like a Jordy Nelson. I know it's hard to get rid of him,
especially when his going rate's only a second.
Yeah, it's hard to get rid of him because A-Rod's coming back. You know he's going to help you win the league next year. But if someone's offering you a first-round draft pick for him, you need to do that in a heartbeat because he's an aging asset.
He's 32 years old.
Yes.
Not often can you get a first-round pick for a guy who's 32.
But I think Jordy combined with A-Rod, that's something that could happen. Especially if it's a contending guy that thinks he's one piece away from winning and he's just focused on winning for that year, what you should be. You should always be forming your team to win either that year or next year.
Yeah, I agree.
Even in the offseason. So, like, we're in the offseason right now. A lot of teams are making trades to get their teams ready. Always be working in the trades all year round.
Yeah, there's no off-season in Dynasty football. All right, part 5. I know this may sound like we're being a little hypocritical because of what we've just said, but you don't want to let your personal feelings get in the way of valuing players. Kind of like the guy we were just talking about. The guys that are like, nope, I want 4 firsts for this guy because that's what he's worth.
Because they like him or they play for their favorite
or
team.
Or just because he's a second-year guy who hasn't turned the corner yet. So, like, there's a guy in our league who has Devontae Parker, and he wants the fucking world for him, and the guy hasn't done anything. Like,
sup, Juan?
I know you're listening.
Yeah. So when you put your personal feelings into valuing your players, even like, I'm gonna throw you in there because I know you hate him. But when you had Doug Baldwin,
oh yeah,
a lot of people, if you for some reason drafted Doug Baldwin, which would be smart if he fell to you at the right time.
Never. Ugh.
Well, I'm not saying you would. This is just a hypocritical thing. This is just a hypothetical thing, all right? So if you had Doug Baldwin and you just didn't like him, just don't sell him for nothing. Still go out and get his value and hold on to him.
You got to find the guy who likes the Doug Baldwins of the world.
So, yeah, that's the biggest thing. That's where you lose pieces on your team if you let your personal feelings get in the way of your decisions.
Yep. All right, are we ready to move on to I think the most important part?
Yes, by far.
All right. Part 6. Always, every week, keep a guy on the end of your roster who you wouldn't mind cutting. Because you're always, always, always searching for the next great sleeper on waivers.
And it's the next great sleeper, too. But the thing is like what I liked with my year this last year is I picked people off of free agency, and they went out a week or 2 weeks before because I had more room on my roster because so many people got hurt.
Yep. And
then I went out and I traded them for prospects that I liked.
Exactly. You can get a guy off waivers and sell him the next week for a second.
And that completely revitalized my team. Granted, a couple came back and kind of bit me in the ass, like when I traded Robert Woods, but it was worth doing because I didn't view him as a part of my long-term team.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and you traded him, week 5 or 6? I think it was right after that Niners game when he really blew up. I don't know. It's tough to gauge these guys.
People always make fun of me that week because I pick someone up and then they have a good week and I try to trade him and say, oh, you just picked him up waivers. Yeah, but he's an asset that you can't have and you can have next year if he goes off.
And because he's on my team.
Yeah, because he's on my team, and you're not going to get him because if he keeps on going off, he's going to stay on my team.
Mm-hmm.
And you tell that to him, and that kind of brings him down a little bit. And he's like, all right, he did do good. This may go on for future games. Let's take a risk on him.
Kind of like my sleeper pickup. I was already out of it when I picked up Keelan Cole.
Yep. That was a good one. I picked up Charles Clay, and I traded him in a package for Evan Ingram.
I picked up Austin Safarian Jenkins and ended up flipping him for O.J. Howard.
So, yeah, always pick them up. You never know what people that value their players at. You never know what they need or want. So always pick them up. Try to trade them. Keep them if you like them.
Yeah, definitely. All right, I think that pretty much covers it for how to be successful in Dynasty.
For sure. Always keep on working everything all year round. Free agents, trades, everything.
Year-round process.
Yep.
All right, that's it for today. Next week we'll be talking about rookie running back rankings because the combine just happened. And
Yep. See, we had our ranking set up before this, but there's a lot of shuffling going on because of these combines. So,
granted, the combine isn't the end-all, be-all factor in the world, but it does have its perks to it.
Yep, we got a lot of guys, a couple guys rising. So we're gonna start with the running backs.
Yes, running backs. That's what I said. All right, thanks, guys. Thanks for listening to episode 2 of the NSFW Dynasty podcast. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Later.